Yes. Quiet, please.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Prince and now I am presenting the presentation about the analyze the structure of a small building of specific design. So basically this is my presentation topic. First is importance and relevance of small building design in New Zealand. The second is functionality, sustainability, user needs, material, time and post implementation. The third one is design criteria and safety factors in assigning design loads. And the next one is explore factors influencing design criteria selection, analysis of key structural elements, foundation and substructure requirements. And the last one I will discuss about the conclusion. The first we need to focus on the importance of small building. We need to identify the importance of the small building so we can give the full concentration of our building in New Zealand. The first one is population growth. The New Zealand population is growing rapidly, so we need to focus on the small building project. If the population will increase day by day, so it's hard for the New Zealand government or New Zealand people to analyze how we can make the small building. The second is adaptability. The cost of housing in New Zealand, particularly in urban areas, has been concerned for many years. In New Zealand, it is very concerned thing to have a large population in urban areas. Second one is sustainability. There is a growing awareness of environmental issues and the need of sustainable living practices. Third one is resilience and disaster preparedness. New Zealand is prone to natural disasters such as earthquake and flooding. Last one is flexibility and adaptability. Small building designs offers flexibility in terms of user and adaptability to different lifestyle. It means we need to adaptive and we need to flexible for the design and we need to more focus on our small building projects so we can prepare for the future things. Now these are the six key points. The first one is functionality. This refers to how well the product or system perform its indeed task. In design process, functionality is paramount because the product must fulfill its purpose. So basically it means when we make anything, we make the small building and we make any product, so products need to fulfill their purpose. The second is sustainability. In today's world, sustainability is a critical consideration in design. It involves minimizing environmental impact. So we need to concern about our environmental also. We need to make this sustainable thing and we need to focus on the small building. So how we can make the sustainable small building. Next one is user needs. Understanding user needs and preference is essential for creating a product that with its indeed audience. So we need to focus on the user needs, what the user want, and we want to make the things according to their needs. And the next is material. The choice of material greatly impacts the design. The big thing is that we need to focus on our material. If we focus on our material, so we can make the good project. If we can't make the good project, so that's the big concern of our good bad material thing. Next one is time implications. Time constraints are related in design process, whether it's a meeting project. So we also need to give the full attention to the time implementation, and we need to prepare the project according to the time frame. The last one is cost implications. This is also very a big concern. We need to concern about the cost, how many cost we can put on our project and what's going on with our project. The next one is design criteria in assessing design load. First one is compliance with codes. When we make any kind of building, we need to compliance with the building codes. The second is material. We need to focus on our material. If we focus on our material, we can make a good building. Next one is load consideration. So these are the different kind of load. First is dead load, live load, wind and seismic load. In the next slide we will talk about the different loads. The first one is wind load. Basically, the wind load is the wind load are the forces exerted by wind or structures of building. So we need to prepare our building so our building can adopt and our building can raise the wind load. The second one is live load. The live load, also known as occupancy loads or imposed loads, are permanent, temporary or variable loads caused by occupancy and use of structure. Basically, the live load is the living load which is not permanently, and the third one is dead load. Dead load means is permanently load. We can't change this load, and we can minimize and maximize this kind of load, but that load is that load that things we can't move, that things we are not movable. Fourth one is seismic load. Seismic load known as earthquake load or ground motion load. Basically, this is called the seismic load is called the natural disaster. We can't change this. The next one is safety factors in assessing design load. First is load combination. When we make the small building, we need to focus on the load combination. If we combine the load equally, so we can make a good building, and this is very important for any kind of building. Second one is material use. We need to focus on the material, which material we are using in our building, and where we take these kind of material. Third one is compliance with codes and regulations. This is a very common factor of every type of building. If we make the small building, if we make the big building, so we need to focus on the compliance, and we have to follow the building codes. If we follow the building codes properly, so we can make a good building, and the structure of the building also very good. The last one is structural analysis. We need to analyze our structure, and we need to give the full concentration of our structure. If we prepare a good structure, so we can make a good building. The next one is factors influence design criteria. The first one is environmental conditions. When we make any type of building, we have to concern about the environmental conditions. If the environment condition is different from our side, so we need to make the building according to the natural conditions. Somewhere the floods occur in a huge amount. Sometimes some areas like Christchurch in New Zealand, there is a high amount of earthquake. So we need to make the building according to the earthquake resistance. The second one is seismic condition. We also concern about the seismic condition of our building. If we concern about our seismic condition of the building, so we can make a good building. Third one is building codes and regulations. This is also a very primary thing. We every time when we make the large building, when we make the small building, when we make the any kind of project, so we need to concern about the building code. If we create a good structure, and if we create a good infrastructure also, so this is also very important to follow the rules of the building code. The last one is economic factor. This is also a very good thing. We need to concern about the economic factor. If we haven't give the full concentration of the economic factor, so that's the big problem for the construction project. We need to focus on our economic factor so we can make a good building. The next one is key structural elements, foundation and substructure requirements. First one is beam. Beam is the horizontal thing which we bears our roof load and which bears our small building full of. Second one is column. The column is horizontal thing which bears the load of our building, and it also prevents our building. Third one is foundation. Foundation basically the thing we make under of our building. so it gives the support to our building. Third one is walls. Walls is basically a cover of our building. So this is the picture of the column. So we can make the building stronger by make the good column, and this one is the photo of view. So now this is the foundation. So we need to make the good foundation. If we make the good foundation, so we can easily make the good building and strong building. And this last one is the walls. If we make the good walls, so we can also make a good building. Now last, this is the conclusion. In conclusion, New Zealand construction industry is little bit different from the other countries. Like sometime New Zealand government have a big concern about the rising population, and this is also a big problem for the government. In some countries, government trying to build the small buildings because small buildings take less space and the cost of project also low. Sometimes many natural disaster comes, so that we can fight with the disaster by building the small building project. Like if many time in New Zealand, sometime earthquake comes, sometimes flood comes. So these are the natural disasters. If we build this small building, we can handle these type of disasters, and we can take the full concern of our this project. So we can follow the instructions and follow the building code, and we will make the small building. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions? No? Okay. Could you please, Prince, also you tell me two challenges and two benefits of a small buildings compared with the large building?
So then first thing challenges. So sometimes we have the very less space, so we need to follow the building codes. So that is very difficult to implement that codes according to the small size of the building as compared to the large building, because if we make the large building, so we can easily implement our building code, but in small space we can't properly. We have to manage all the things, and sometimes there is the soil problem, like land problem. So we need to focus on our land. We can make the small project, and the benefit. So like small building, the budget of the project also very low, and we can make the small building in less time frame. And sometime in New Zealand natural disasters comes, so we can handle these disasters by making small buildings.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Very good
I have one
presentation,
question, ma'am.
Prince.